dedicated link. So it is also depending on the UAV operation range. Then that's why we have line of sight as well as the beyond line of sight. So that is this is the weaker aspect of the drones. That is the data links have been identified by cyber attackers. That can lead to taking control of the drone or crashing them. So they may target the flight controller also and ground communication. Okay, so here is a diagram which shows various possible cyber attacks on the drones. One is that it may be that there may be a predator drone, which may be flying closer to the drone and also sending spoof signals. So the predator drone may send commands and controls and try to take over the drone. Then we have, on the drone itself, we may have various malware and being injected. Then with respect to GPS signals, because drones rely for positioning themselves using GPS signals, and GPS signals are not encrypted for civilian drones, and as a result of which jamming is possible. So jamming signals may be sent and spoofing signals may be sent. As a result of it, the drone may be lost, or it may be taking a different path. So adversaries can spoof sensor readings, then disrupt the drone operation, manipulate captured footages. Okay, so various cyber attacks on the drones can be classified. I got the diagram from one of the very important paper in this domain. So attack may target availability, then integrity and confidentiality aspects. So it may be a hijacking attack, as we discussed already, or communication interruption, data fabrication, data modification, and data interception. So what we can see is that with respect to communication interruption, we have jamming, that is denial of service, and then GPS spoofing attack, which I'm going to discuss in more detail as we go along. Okay, security analysis can result in this security tree being obtained, and this is useful for analysis. So who are the attackers and what kind of attacks they may launch? It may be a passive attack, in which case they are just intercepting the data or doing the traffic analysis, or active attack. So the important ones there are like GPS spoofing, man in the middle, jamming, and malware. So then we look at the various threats, and these threats are related to revelation capabilities, then knowledge capabilities, and disruption capabilities. That is illustrated there, like okay, so in order to strengthen the drones, we have to deploy many cybersecurity tools and techniques, and that's where the cryptography comes into picture, malware analysis, then firewalls and intrusion detection systems, then strengthening operating system security, hardware security. And that is where the like the component sourcing and various things come into picture, network security, and social engineering and internal insider threats need to be handled. Okay, the major cyber attacks on drones are listed here, like the jamming and spoofing of the data, GPS data, jamming and spoofing of UAV transmissions, manipulating the captured footage, injecting falsified sensor data. So that is one aspect. You can see that because drone is carrying many sensors, malicious hardware and software, and attacking the mission assignments. That is, the ground control station can itself be hacked by the attackers, and they may inject various mission assignments, malicious mission assignments. So the most important attacks are on the data link, that it can be resulting in unauthorized disclosure of the communication, and GCS control signals jamming. So as a result of it, drone loses its control, and denial of service, that is GCS control signal spoofing. So here is an illustration which is shown there. The man in the middle attack is shown here illustrated, where the direct link is disconnected, and now the malicious link is established from the remote control to the drone through this attacker. So various cyber physical threats are listed here, and the countermeasures also. The mitigation techniques are also shown here. And what we can see is that as we go along, we will be discussing this in detail along with solutions from the AI domain. Anti-drone technology is one important aspect when you speak about drones. We cannot ignore that. With recent drone attacks being increasing, anti-drone technology is growing, and it is becoming very, very sophisticated. So one aspect about anti-drone technology is using that it uses radars, lidars, and also the image processing. And so the drones may be detected by scanning of RF signals. So there are two ways to sort of disable the malicious drone. That is, one is hard kill and other is a soft kill. In hard kill, supposing the drone may be destroyed using traditional munitions, and other aspect is using RF to sort of disable it or okay, so this is a diagram which shows the security architecture, and what we can see is that it is layered architecture. And here, the important one we can see is the software-based security services, which has this anti-malware, software isolation, and access authorization, firewall and intrusion detection system, and fabricated sensor reading defenses. So this plays a very important role in case of GPS spoofing signals are being received by the drone, and it has to detect authentic GPS signal from the spoof signals. Hardware-based security services are like hardware-accelerated cryptographic services, anti-GPS spoofing mechanisms, which are built into the hardware. Okay, so this is a interesting case study about drone hijacking. And this drone hijacking is demonstrated, and many videos are easily available, and the solutions are also available. As we know, DJI is one of the largest drone manufacturers, and it has a revenue of $3 billion. And these kind of drones you might have already seen being used for aerial photography, and that has been demonstrated to be hacked. Hacking involves very simple steps here. Then we also have hacking of military drone, which is reported, and the complete case study is available. And this takeover employed a very sophisticated kind of techniques. One is the jamming of satellite and ground control signals, then spoofing attack. Okay, so the drone gets the wrong coordinates and gets lost, and drone had been made to land in the attacker's territory. So what we can see is that this is a cyber warfare, and the drone warfare is now translating into the fifth domain of warfare, that is the cyber warfare. Okay, while what we can see is that enemies may launch drones, and that is where the cyber warfare comes into picture, and the first line of defense can be there in that. Okay, here is a GPS spoofing attack on the drones, which is very interesting, and the reported techniques in the literature are available. And the drone, while flying, no, it is continuously getting signals from the satellites, the GPS satellites, and it's getting its coordinates. And this is where the attacker comes into picture. Attacker has fabricated or spoofed the GPS signals, and these stronger signals are received by the drone as authentic signals, and now drones takes this red path, which is a spoof path. Instead of landing in this particular location, drone has been misguided, and it has landed somewhere else. So that is also one aspect with respect to drone, which is very specific, is the geo fencing. So geo fencing is in fact mostly programmed into many of the commercially available drones so that they avoid the fenced areas. So geofencing is that, let's say, an airport or an important facility where the drone is not supposed to enter, the drone is signaled, and it is supposed to be taking a action to deviate its path. So that is where the anti-drone system also comes into the picture there. So geofencing is kind of a virtual barrier that demarks the specific area and warns the pilot when they are approaching the boundary. For the drones, the geofence would prevent the drone from flying. In fact, if you look at the popular commercial drones, they have around 20,000 to 30,000 geofencing markers, and these drones will avoid these locations. So recently, what we can see that there is a drone regulation being announced, and there is a map is there which provides information about where the drones can fly and where they are not supposed to. Supposing in this map, you can see that these particular regions where the drones can fly are indicated in light blue, and the rest are in the red zone where the drone is supposed to avoid it. So then we move to the topic of moving target defense. So this is a very sophisticated cybersecurity technique being used by the drones. And what they do is that as they move along, they change their attack surfaces. So they are able to, let's say, change their, let's say, MAC address, or change the specific parameters so that the attacker cannot launch their attack. So supposing things are static, attacker may succeed in getting through the system defenses, and as the attacker becomes successful, they may sort of plant various malware and all, and moving target defense is ensuring that attacker gets a very little time to sort of focus themselves. So here is a diagram also I have put here. So the idea is to shift attack surfaces. So important topic is the zero-day attacks. And especially this is where the AI is coming into picture. The zero-day attack is that the particular vulnerability is because of the complexity of the drone, the particular vulnerability is visible to the attacker. It may be a particular bug in the software, or it may be design flaw or whatever, and before the system is patched or security configuration is effective to prevent any attack based on that vulnerability, the attacker takes a dive and attacker goes ahead and then the vulnerability is exploited. So this is the window. Actually, the vulnerability window is where the particular exploit is released and the attacker is able to get a time to attack the system. And okay, so let's say vendor develops the fix. Okay, that drone is now secure against this vulnerability. Then attacker has little time now. But till then, it is a 0-day threat which exists. And the one technique we discussed already is the moving target defense, and other is the AI-based cybersecurity system. For example, this particular combination, SkyGrid and Spark Cognition, they deployed the first AI-powered cybersecurity system, and the solution is called Deep Armor, which protects endpoints against the 99.9% of the never before seen threats. This is possible only because of the machine learning capability built into the system. So here we can see that role of AI, and okay, so there are data sets which are required. This question, what's AI without data? And then we see that data sets for the drones attacks need to be built. And I could see in Kaggle some data sets available, and specific data sets are okay. They are to be properly curated and maintained for, let's say, to be used by the machine learning algorithms. So the artificial intelligence may be playing a role in the antivirus to automated threat detection and mitigation. So being a dynamic and promising field, it attracts increasing research interest. So what are the various challenges we can see? Okay, that is, we have to have large representative data set, and then mechanism to obtain very low positive rates. Okay, so that too in the real time, because the threats are coming up as the drone is flying. So also we can see that there is a Algorithmic Accountability Act, and similar act may be promulgated here, and okay, developers in that regard have to consider, okay, increasing the number of expectations and legal requirements. That is about explainability, interpretability, and being free from bias, because machine learning hides many things, as you see. Okay, so we are coming to the end of this particular presentation, and here I am concluding. And what we can see is that cyber attacks are very concerning, and that's where the drones are prone for them being controlled by the computers. And then we can see that many of the commercial drones manufacturers have announced bugs bounty programs. So the spoofing and DOS attacks have been discovered to be very effective against drones, and then we can see that strengthening the wireless link is one aspect to prevent the link jamming and takeover. And we looked at MTB, moving target defense technique. Then we looked at artificial intelligence powered cybersecurity for drones to handle zero-day threats. So the AI cybersecurity suite leverages mostly machine learning technology and combines it with defense in depth. to provide multiple layers of protection on the endpoint. And that is instead of actually using non-signatures, heuristics, or rule-based approaches, this approach seems to be very promising. Okay, so my presentation is now complete and I'm open for discussions. I thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity once again.
Yep. So thanks, Dr. Kumar. It's a really wonderful and very insightful presentation from you, and you really brought it out. All the points which are kind of very relevant from the drone and the cybersecurity aspect, and more so, you covered everything which is very much required, a point of concern for everyone. Where we are talking of the cybersecurity, how AI plays a role, how machine learning works up, and what are the challenges which we are going to be, because while we talk of almost $40 billion worth of businesses in India itself by 2030, as regards the drones are concerned, and we really have to really work on the cybersecurity aspect. And you have brought in very relevant point, how it really needs to get on to and everybody has to work on towards that. So thank you for taking out your time, Dr. Kumar, and really appreciate the kind of information, the use cases, the practical knowledge what you have given to us and the complete Society for Data Science audience who are there. And thanks really, and we'll